Voice of Students, powered by Onata, local part-time jobs.
Hello viewers, my name is Jyoti Vazirani. Welcome back to another edition of Voice of Students, a talk show by the students from the universities across USA. Each week, the students voice their opinion about various topics from politics to social media, education to culture, and many more. If you are a college student and want to be on the show, please register at www.onata.com/VOS. This week, we are going to discuss global warming and the new Green Deal. Global warming is a term that we have been hearing for decades, but we are doing our part to make the planet cleaner and safe. There are different views about global warming. I will play two contrasting videos about the global warming. Let us see.
That our activities are changing the climate. And if we don't act forcefully, we'll continue to see rising oceans, longer, hotter heat waves, dangerous droughts and floods, and massive disruptions that can trigger greater migration and conflict and hunger around the globe.
So Obama's talking about all of this with the global warming and that, and a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay?
There are so many different ways that you can help on small and large scales. Young adults should look to their local communities and universities to get involved. While entirely stopping pollution is impossible, think of all the smaller things you can do to help, like social cleanups or recycling around your community.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Voice of Students. Today we're going to hear from these incredible young adults about what they think about global warming. So to start, can you introduce yourselves by name and university?
Stephen Nelson, I'm from Rutgers University.
I'm Jane Chaco, also from Rutgers.
I'm Sienna Bradford, I'm also from Rutgers University.
And what are your majors?
I'm a journalism major.
I'm a journalism and American studies major.
Journalism.
Thanks everyone. To get started, do you believe in global warming?
Yes, I do believe in global warming. I do believe that the Earth has a problem and that it needs to be fixed, and I believe that the people on Earth can fix it if we come together to, recycle and do our job to make sure this planet is clean.
I don't think it's something you can believe in. It's like science and like hard fact. Mm-hmm. So it's like whether you choose to make a difference or choose to like ignore it. Because yeah, like you said, it is a problem and it's happening. So if you ignore it, then it's just going to continue happening. So it's not like Santa Claus where you don't believe. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I think, global warming does exist. I think there are a lot of people that have a lot of vested interests in like giant companies like with big gas and big automobiles where it's economical for them to ignore and say that it's a hoax. Mm-hmm. But I do believe it does exist. Yeah, people are choosing not to do anything about it though.
Right. Okay, so to be clear, according to NASA, the four main gases that contribute to global warming are water vapor, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, and methane. So please let us know your opinion about how to control these in your communities. Do you know what each of them do, or
The type of gases?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, like I've heard them, in science class, but I've never actually, it's been a while since I've actually thought about like how gases can harm the environment more or less. I know for a fact when it comes to like turning your car on and starting your car and leaving your car on for a long period of time, those gases definitely pollute the air. So I know that's something that can definitely be prevented in our community when it comes to those types of gases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess just cars are probably the transportation emits the most. I think that's like the gas I only know about. But other than that, I'm not really aware of what other gases I could be limiting in my community.
Yeah, I mean, you can move like a lot of the houses that you have, like you move them from gas to electric. I'm sure that would break it down a little bit. I know some communities in my neighborhood are doing that, and a lot of people are moving over to electric cars like the Nissan Leaf or the Tesla. So they're doing that a little bit more. And I know my town, it's a small town, doesn't even have a gas station in it, and it never has. So
Right.
How do you think that you can make a difference? What are the things that you can do to make a difference in the climate change?
Well, for starters, I feel like something that's pretty general that everyone should be doing is recycling. Unfortunately, like I'm terrible at it. I'm extremely lazy, but I definitely believe that recycling is very important, and even reusing, like, you know, your own water bottles, even though like you like buy a whole bunch like in the pack, you can still reuse them for other things. Like I know I have like a spray bottle for my hair, so like I'll just reuse like water I haven't used, or like plastic bags I get from the grocery store. I'll reuse them for like other things. Like if I don't want to get my shoes wet, like I'll put them on my shoes and other things like that. So I feel like little things that you do within yourself that you can teach other people as a resource can like help the community around you, so that way it's not like a recurring effect of pollution.
I think we've been told to reuse, recycle, and what's the last R?
Reduce.
Reduce,
Reuse,
yes.
recycle.
Yes. Like since we were kids, and I think most people like know how to recycle, but the recycling it like on the bottom of each container there are different numbers, so you can't recycle all the same thing, and they can't also be streamed in the same place, so you have to be conscious of that. And they're like, we can do all these little things, but these like big companies have to make changes. Like Starbucks getting rid of their straws, and like a lot of restaurants getting rid of their straws, like makes a difference because those are plastic, or they're turning to paper straws, or they're turning to no containers. It's just like eat at the restaurant and like that's it. You can't like have takeout. So I think these big changes make a difference, but everyone like across the globe and across the board have to make huge changes, not just like throwing your water bottle, like reusing the same water bottle. Even though what you said was great. It was great.
I would definitely say for me, I'd be like, stop using a lot of things that use a lot of gas, like using your car, like try to use like other forms of transportation, like even not even get into an Uber, like try to use the like your bike or something, or walk places more. I know that's probably not economical, or like not everybody can do it depending on distances, but if you can reduce on it and carpool more, just like make sure that the gas emissions that you're letting off, or the people that you know, even can help out just a little bit, I think.
You have seen the video of Trump and Obama, and Obama says it's a real concern, and Trump is saying it's a hoax. What do you think is your view on climate change, looking at these videos?
Me personally, of course, I would always agree with Obama because Obama. But, however, I would agree with climate change being a real concern just off of, like, what's been happening with the weather so far. Like, recently, like, it snowed in the Sahara Desert, like, during the winter time, which it's the desert, it's not supposed to have snow. And it was negative 60 degrees in Chicago, which is extremely cold, colder than the temperature currently in the Arctic. So that right there shows how drastic temperatures are beginning to change in certain regions of the world where it's not supposed to be cold, or it's extremely cold, or it's not supposed to be like snowing, like in the Sahara Desert. So it's scientific and it's blatant that there's a climate change happening and that it needs to be fixed, and that we're destroying the earth by doing so.
I agree. Those are big problems that we see are happening, but I understand that when Trump says it's a hoax and like all these people like say it's a hoax, because they're not encountering it on an everyday basis. Like, why as individuals should we like make a change, buy an electric car, switch our stove from gas to electric, and spend thousands and thousands of dollars when it's just a little warmer on one day? Because you can understand global warming as a concept, but like as a realistic problem, there's really no way to grasp that. And so I don't see people making a small change just because someone's like, you should recycle or you should buy an electric car. It just doesn't, it's not realistic, and people aren't going to do it. And it's going to create a bigger problem, but something not a lot of people care about, unfortunately.
I mean, it's not a big issue if you don't think about it, though. I mean, that's with any problem.
Yeah.
You can, yeah, it's going to be a problem someday. If you keep on kicking the can down the road, it's going to it's going to snowball. If that's, I mean, we're not going to have any snowballs anymore because it's going to get too darn hot.
They've been telling us that polar bears are gonna die, like since we were like 5, but it's still like no one cares because there's no polar bears in Jersey.
Right. So yeah, even what we were just talking about, there was an actual video of a polar bear eating its own child because their ecosystem is so different now due to climate change. There's not much other options they have. So it's really crazy to see.
And that's so sad. And that video to watch is so sad, but it's not enough to get people to change. Like Obama was saying in that video, like waters are rising and like all these things are changing, but like no one here cares because there's no polar bears in New Jersey, and like unless you like live by the beach, it's not something like you're concerned with.
But then at the same time, you have to think about things like, okay, there's multiple earthquakes happening, like hurricanes are more dangerous than they actually used to be, like they're becoming actually deadly. So it's more than just, you know, it's hot outside, it's even like the tectonic plates like moving under us. So it's like changing where we live and how we can live. Eventually, like even New Jersey, like we're almost below sea level in certain areas. So like eventually, even like Manhattan is an island that's below sea level. So at some point, like Manhattan won't exist anymore, like with water rising and things like that. So it's gonna become a problem. And like we can wait as long as we wanna wait, but then there will be like destruction of certain areas, and then everyone's gonna be like, oh my gosh, now what do we do? So you're gonna wait until, you know, millions of people, billions of people dies for it to be like a serious problem. You should take action before it becomes like deadly.
And you guys bring up a good point, saying that a lot of people don't take the initiative because it's not directly or they think it's not directly affecting them because it's not something they could visually see exactly in their area. But at the same time, how do you think people are going to react when it is right in front of their faces? They think that it's not on this global level yet, but in reality, once it is going to reach us, then there's not much that we could do at that point. We need to make smaller changes in order to reach a global level. So also I wanted to point out, how do you think that this topic is going to impact or influence the upcoming 2020 election?
Do you think it'll make an impact?
I feel like climate change always is an impact in any election. Like from Al Gore and his, you know, ideas and his theories on global warming and climate change. Like this is something that's been talked about, and everyone tries to find, you know, their own propaganda solution towards it on both sides, whether it's being a hoax or being an actual truth and scientific fact. They're going to push the envelope to see, you know, if the world will take it seriously or if they're not going to take it seriously. And regardless, it will be in every election. Me personally, I feel like it would be until there's actual change about like climate change and global warming.
I also don't think it's going to be that big of an issue.
It already is, though.
I know. People say it is, but it's always like the Democrats are on one side and say that it's real and we should make changes, and then Republicans say they shouldn't be. But I mean, honestly, both parties have pockets within big oil, big gas, automobiles. Like it's not really an issue. It's kind of like bring it up to stir up both sides of the issues within their bases, but it's not really going to be solved because the money is so deep within the corporations, their money is so deep within politics that it's not a real issue when you really think about it for the people that can have the power to change it.
But the Dems are digging themselves in a hole because they're saying, like, so many are siding with like the Green New Deal, and I mean in concept it's a great idea, like to make all this change, but so many conservatives and those who like voted for Trump in spite of Hillary or just because they thought he had like he was for the middleman, right? I'm the average like middle American man. So because they're digging themselves into the hole, they're like turning off so many people who would vote for them because of other reasons. I mean, AOC and Bernie Sanders like haven't stopped talking about the Green New Deal, and so I think it's doing them a disadvantage, and it's not like a real issue that people are going to vote on. They're going to be like, I want to see a change, so I'm going to vote for this person, but it's going to matter, and it's going to definitely affect people's decisions.
Thank you for your views. We will take a short break now.
We'll be back soon.